Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of the Dental Trade Alliance podcast, brought to you by the Dental Trade Alliance. My name is Kevin Henry, honored to not only be the host of this podcast, but also the editor-in-chief for drbicuspid.com, and have a real treat today. We've got a couple on that we're going to talk about their involvement with DTA and what it has meant to them. And John and Melissa Dell, welcome to the show. Appreciate you both being on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Before we dive in, I'd love for our eyes to know a little bit more about you.
Sure. So we are co-owners of Elevation Data Group, which is a managed data services company specifically focused on dental and specifically dental special markets is a big part of what we do in terms of customer authentication and chargeback validation and dealer manufacturer and group relations and all that good stuff. So we've been in the dental industry, I personally, since 2010, started in distribution, and then we started our company in 2018.
I trained last year.
And she
a year.
Well, glad to have you both on. And let's start at the very beginning. What drew you into DTA? What got you to join the association?
Well, I think I'd been a part of the dental industry for a long time as a director, and never really got to participate in some of the DTA activities, although the company I worked for was an active member of DTA and continues to this day. But when we started our own company, and specifically because we work with the dental supply chain, so our customers are all part of the DTA, I thought, originally it was just going to be a great opportunity to network with maybe some potential customers and whatnot, and just talk about issues that affect the dental industry, since we were trying to build products that supported the dental industry. So to me, it made sense that that was really our best chance to be a part of that industry at a deeper level. And so when we joined, it was pretty clear instantly from our first DTA annual meeting that was exactly where we needed to be. The conversations were excellent, and we felt certainly that we were embraced right off the bat by the DTA's leadership. And also we had several of our existing customers were there, and they welcomed us aboard. And it was just a very different feel from anything else that we had done in the past, any of the dental trade shows, having meetings. This was just about talking about the industry and being a part of something a little bit bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, and last year we had already been members for 2 years, and it was my first meeting. And I had just joined our company full time. I had been working about 10 hours a month up to that point for the past year. And the women, I attended and signed up for the women in prior.
It was like the women. I forget the title of it, but it's specifically for women in dental.
Yeah, for the women in dental, their start of it. And it was just amazing. There was a lot of us that had like first year attendee badges on. So we just all kind of like clung together a bit. Then we started branching out over the course of the couple days of the annual meeting. And it was just amazing to meet these people. They understood I was new. They were introducing me to people. And it was a really great feeling to just go in there knowing nobody and then coming out of it with so many more connections.
Well, and it's great that you had people introducing you to others, and obviously a little bit of a background with some of the people that are already there. But one thing I've heard constantly before we did this podcast is that you all were obviously not afraid to put yourselves out there as well. You all were very aggressive is probably the wrong word, but you all were wanting to get out there. I like that word. So tell me about the value of putting yourself out there instead of, and maybe being a little bit proactive instead of waiting for something to come to you.
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Again, I found a lot that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't really expecting. We knew this industry was small. We know it's kind of tight knit. I wasn't expecting to see it from that level. Man, I was a first time business owner. I'd never run my own business from an executive standpoint before. So starting DTA after only a couple of years of doing that really helped me take a step back and say, wait a second, we're building something that's a part of this great, big, powerful machine. And we're all sort of, as an industry, even though there's competitors that are working together to advance, dental health care and how that affects us all, not just from a money standpoint, but I think you see a deeper connection to the well-being of patients and, about expanding dental care access. And all of a sudden it's about, again, bigger than yourself. And I think that's something that personally we relate to a lot. I think we really enjoy our local community involvement. And this just gave us an opportunity to blend our professional passions with some of our personal passions. And meeting Sarah and the foundation board members really kicked off an opportunity where we said, geez, we really want to be a part of that, especially when it came to special needs patients. It's a topic that's very important to us. And so we just jumped in and said, how can we help? Because that just enriched the experience even more. And then Melissa kind of took it a little bit of a step further.
Yeah, as soon as he had attended the first meeting, and I was not a part of the company whatsoever, but he was explaining to me what he had volunteered for to be part of the Pets of Dental calendar. I was like, I want to be involved. I don't care that I'm not actively involved with the company, but this is something that has a very soft point in both of our lives. Our youngest son is on the spectrum, and it was just something that we've lived in the difficulty of how it is to navigate different professionals in the medical dental world with him. And we wanted to do something that would help to bring funds to better train some of these offices or get specialists in there to help and make it a more pleasant experience for them, because it can be so challenging. And that was where, I was like, I'm going to be on every meeting. I had met Julie and Sarah that way. And it just kind of advanced in working with Liz as well. And now we're working on the second one. And it's just been something that I love. And we attended the trip to DC for the summit. And that was another great experience of actually walking the hill and seeing everything there. It just really helped to kind of add more layers to what we're experiencing with the DTA.
And I'm going to touch on the hill in just a minute, but I want to go back to the work being done with the foundation, because again, I know some people, it's very personal for you all, but I know some people think I don't have time for that. I'm already giving in other ways, but yet you all found that there's a great value here in dental leaders coming together to really help those in the dental industry and dental patients who maybe need that help, and the importance of that.
My goodness. Yeah. I mean, just being at that dental annual meeting, you see a lot of people who probably don't have a lot less time than I do running huge companies, and they're so giving. And I think, again, there's something, especially in this day and age, I think post-COVID, I think everybody sort of rethought why we do what we do. And I think, there's a lot of things that blur those lines. And if you can make a positive impact in the world around you in one way or another, I think we all really appreciate that. But yeah, going to your time standpoint, I think that when we're all pulling, the actual time commitment isn't really that significant. And you get a lot of really dynamic people on these committees that are just, they're all giving up some time. But if we're all in it, we all work hard, we're all have our abilities that we bring to that, I find that it's actually very, very manageable to do. And like I said, it really enriches what you do on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah, and it fills your cup. So it's not like you're attending a meeting that's like everyone's, and it's very kind of like a serious topic, where it is serious, but it's not that kind of when you walk away from the meeting feeling kind of down. You just feel so like empowered, and you're like, okay, I want to do more, and what can I do, and what context do I have that I can try to reach out to because of the bigger goal of what we're trying to accomplish.
And I'll be honest, one of the things that I think goes under the radar so much with the Dental Trade Alliance is that day on the Hill that you mentioned, whenever dental leaders go to Washington, D.C. to talk to leaders in Congress and the Senate about why things in the dental industry are important and why they deserve the support. And I'm wondering, what were the biggest lessons that you all took away from the day on the Hill? And what impact did it have on you after that?
Wow, it was pretty profound. I think, number one, it's just cool. Just, in terms of a civics lesson and about, how we participate actively in our government, I think that was just above and beyond, just very, very interesting to me. The first session I met, I've been to two now, but I think by and large, again, the industry moves. And I think that what I took away from that is that we have to really work hard to help understand where the industry's going, some of these challenges that are coming up. And also, there's just a ton of opportunities to help contribute in ways that are going to help the industry thrive in a way that we all want to see. I think when dental healthcare thrives, I think everybody thrives. So I think just being able to be a part of that, being able to talk about issues that, quite frankly, doing what I do, working in data all day long, I don't see that end. I don't see 5 miles ahead what turns are coming, what twists, what challenges. I used to think these were all, supply chain issues. Okay, so we've got tariffs and we've got sorts of weird stuff here, but it's really deeper than that. It's talking about, impacts of AI on dental, and certainly that ties in very deeply, even though I'm not on the operatory side or the clinical side, I'm sorry. But there's all these things that start to get us to think, okay, now we're talking about medical dental integration, and that has a huge bearing in the products that we develop. So, very, very interesting with that. And I think, again, just talking with some of the brightest minds in the industry and talking with our lawmakers, it really helps us see sort of the course that we need to navigate in the future.
And I know as well, I mean, we're in California. We have in going to the summit and kind of a lot of the training they give us ahead of time to equip us to speak. We learned of what vast differences there are within states and how some of the things that we're trying to accomplish on a national level, it's what we already experience out here. So it helps us to provide, like, it's a really great thing that we're able to, have dental care provided for those that are over 65 because we have that here, but it's not the norm in other states, and just how much it helps the groups as a whole. It's not such a burden on just the medical professionals because there's so many preventative stuff that can occur with regular visits to the dentist. And seeing everyone gather together in the room with all the different states and just seeing all of the representation from all of the companies is really great as we all march our way up.
No, it's a very cool time to come together, much like the Dental Trade Alliance annual meeting that's going to be in your home state coming up in November. It'll be in Napa, which very much looking forward to being there. So would love for you, just each of you, to share your best piece of advice. If somebody's coming to this year's annual meeting, what's the one thing you would tell them?
It's a great question. You want to go first? I think I need to prep.
I think a big advocate in life in general, we are cruisers. So whenever we go cruising, we like to start a table and just join in to have other conversations with people. And I think that's something that we took into the meeting, where you just kind of go up to people, have small talk, kind of find out where they're from, what part of the industry they're with, and just kind of see what naturally flows. A lot of the conversation just went more personal level, which it's what the meeting is for, us to speak professionally, but also make the connections offline and in more of a personal matter. So I think that would be my biggest takeaway. It's just, branch out of your group and kind of spread out so you can, there's only two of us, so we branch out very quickly. But in general, to kind of make new connections with people there.
Yeah, and I piggyback on that. I think, I'm a little socially awkward, so I always like organized ways of meeting new people. And the events that are around DTA in the annual meeting, I highly recommend to do those. For us, it gave us an easy avenue to just partner with other people. Now, I don't play golf, so obviously that was not an option. But last year, they did a really cool pickleball event, and we all just started competing, and we all were laughing, and it just became this really incredible. And by the time we're on the bus, we're all having a great time coming back. It's just one of those really, I would venture to say, refreshing moments. These are people that are for all sides of this industry, but just really good people, and a chance to meet people, and it just enriches that experience for us.
And competitive. Between the what's the cornhole tournament, the golf, like you see people's competitive drives.
And it's competitive for a good cause too, because we know so much that goes to the DTA Foundation as well. So
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in Napa. I think that'll be fantastic, and certainly we'll network a little bit while we're there. But would love for our audience to know a little bit more how they get a hold of you, how they learn more about your company before we sign off.
Sure. Yeah, we'd love that. So again, Elevation Data Group, you can check out our website at edgnow.com. Certainly that has all the information about what we do. But of course, any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, or Melissa on LinkedIn as well. She is our Chief Product Officer. I serve as CEO.
Sounds great. Well, we're going to have the link. We'll have all that good stuff in the show notes, so it's going to be real easy for you to find. And John, Melissa, I'm looking forward to seeing you all in Napa, and thank you all for what you do for Dental Trade Alliance.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thanks to all of you who listened to this episode of the Dental Trade Alliance podcast. We love talking to DTA members about what fuels them, what motivates them, and the tips that they would share with others as well. Until next time, Kevin Henry, host of the Dental Trade Alliance podcast, signing off, wishing you nothing but success ahead.